Hi, it's Allison of Bebop in It, and this is Tune In. Enjoy. Hi, I'm back again. This time on a Tuesday, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of spinning. I'm having a kind of rough start to my day, so I figured we'll just chill, listen to some jazz, and do some spinning. I'm trying really hard to finish up this 8-ounce spin from Walnut Farm Designs. It's called Heritage Green. It's 80% South American wool, so Romney, Corriedale Merino, and then 20% tweed viscose, and it's a lot of tweed. I finally, now that I've spun probably like 7 ounces of it, I finally got the knack of not getting like huge slubs of tweed, but it's delightful. I spun up a sample with like I'm doing it as a combo spin with this other fiber from Walnut Farm Designs. It's called Citrus. It's 100% Corriedale comb top, and I am combo spinning it, and it plied up just perfect. So even though it's got a ton of tweedy bits in it, it still is perfect. So, and this is gonna turn into a vest. I'm pretty sure I'm in my vest era. So, all right. Anyways, we're going to listen today to an album called Steady in Brown. Clifford Brown and Max Roach. Clifford Brown and Max Roach are probably in my top 10 favorite jazz musicians of all time. Clifford Brown is a trumpeter. Max Roach is a drummer. Yeah, I'm not going to say a ton because I'm not in that headspace this morning, but I will tell you a little bit of the specs. The album, Steady in Brown, it was released in 1955 on the Verve label. Yeah. Okay, let's tune in. All right, track 1 is called Cherokee. And Cherokee is a pretty well-known jazz standard. Yeah. Played this a lot in college. Let me get a little bit farther from the speaker. I'll turn it down a little bit too. You'll hear in the background my daughter's playing with her toys. So, anyways, yeah. Grab a cup of tea or some coffee. Whatever beverage you enjoy, some lemonade. It's really, really hot. Yeah. So, yeah. Sit back, do some knitting, some crocheting, some spinning. Tell me below what you're making. I really want to know. Let me turn it up. I don't know if you can hear that. If you're a trumpet player and you haven't heard of Clifford Brown, wow, like a whole new world opening up for you. Hopefully you had a nice Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. My weekend was a chill stay-at-home weekend. My son got to go hike a volcano, which was very cool. He was very excited. My son's been into volcanoes since he was 2, so it's been 3 years of volcano stuff for us. Yeah, most kids love dinosaurs and stuff. No, he was like, I see the volcano in the background, and that thing is cool. What is that? So yeah, we love volcanoes in this house. We talk about volcanoes all the time. So yeah, I think it helped that we used to live in Portland, and like Portland is surrounded by like 5 very large volcanoes. So he always was talking about Mount Hood and Mount Rainier, and Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens is by far his favorite volcano. Just FYI. Not that you really need to know that, but it is. One of my designs, I think last year. So my son and I design a hat together every year for his birthday. This year was the first year he didn't help me design it, but I did knit him a hat. With moving, it was too hard. But anyways, last year we designed a hat together, and it's called Volcano Lightning. And there was a volcano in, I believe it was Guatemala, that was pretty famous last year for its eruption. Had like these really beautiful streaks, I mean dangerous, but beautiful streaks of lightning that the volcano itself produced, which is pretty cool. If you've never heard of volcanic lightning, go look it up on YouTube, because it is pretty terrifying and awesome at the same time. Yeah, we've learned about it now in several volcano books for kids, because I'm pretty sure I own them all now. But yeah, so if you're interested in that design, maybe your kid or a kid you know loves volcanoes too, you can get volcanic lightning on Ravelry. Sometime later this year or early next year, I'm going to add a cowl version of that design as well, because why not? It's super easy. Pop a hat and cowl together. So if you bought the hat design, you'll get the cowl design too. I'm just going to put it in the same file. So, because like I said, it's so easy. I just take the crown shaping out. Obviously, for one of the sizes. Yeah. It's a perfect little colorwork project if you're new to colorwork. Ooh, this is Max Roach playing, by the way. Excellent drummer. Incredible drummer. He's a social activist too. If you haven't heard of Max Roach, check him out, because not only is he an incredible musician and composer, but he was a very thoughtful and emphatic activist. I don't know if emphatic is the right word, but he had a lot of I think a lot of power behind what he was saying, right? And how he tried to use his platform as a way to bring about change. Maybe on here one time we'll listen to one of his albums that's all protest jazz. Yeah. All right, on to track 2. All right, track 2 is called Jackie. So if your name's Jackie, you got a tune written for you. What, sweetie? Hi. Listen to music. Listen to music. You dance? My daughter loves to dance. And she's gonna be a drummer. You gotta listen to Max Roach. You can be a drummer. Get your drumsticks. Yeah, there you go. Go get your drumsticks. Go get your drumsticks. Righty. If you have kids, you'll know the struggle. All right, my little lady is just over 1. You want Ratatouille background? You like to listen to the music and it's the end, huh? It's got good music at the end. So, I don't know if you're familiar with jazz, but in most standard jazz, you have it's kind of loose form, you know. Sometimes you'll have like an intro, sometimes you'll have just like a solo, you know, at the beginning, but most of the time you're gonna have what's called the head, which is the chart. It's like the main melody written out on what's called the lead sheet. If you've knit any of my designs, you'll see that I kind of do an homage to my jazz days, and I say it's a knitting lead sheet. So you'll do the band plays through the melody, harmonize, whatever, you know, whatever the arrangement is, and then you'll go into what is called the solo section. And so the solo section, you'll usually hear one of the horns, trumpet, trombone, saxophone, maybe a piano, guitar. It depends on what kind of small group it is. You know, if it's a piano trio, you're gonna likely hear the piano first, right? If it's a quartet or a sextet, you're probably gonna hear one of the horns first. That's not really a hard, fast rule, but it's common. And then they'll cycle through. So each player in the band, not always the drummer, not always the bass player, but you know, the greatest tunes have a bass solo. Basses don't get enough love on when they solo. I don't know what it is. I heard once, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard once that bass solos aren't really common in jazz on albums because when you played them on like the radio, you had to like turn up the radio in order to hear the bass, and so that's not very good. People will like shut off the station, so radio didn't want to play jazz tunes and bass solos because all the Legos were dumped off. The radio didn't want to play the drums or the bass solos because most people will turn off the station if they can't hear the music anymore because their radio isn't turned up enough to hear the bass. I don't know if that's true, but it's as good an explanation as any, right? But this will have, I think every track on this album has a drum solo because Max Roach is a drummer. And this is Clifford Brown and Max Roach's quintet. It says the Max Roach Quintet. So I don't know if Clifford Brown was just joining in for this album or if they did a couple together. I'm not really sure. So after the solo section, sometimes there'll be like this like little like intro back into the head of the chart. Sometimes there'll be like this little, in big band, you'll have sometimes what's called a, oh my gosh, why am I blanking? I write these. Soli sections. And soli sections are like written out solo sections for an entire section of the band. So in big band, you have saxophone section, usually 2 altos, alto saxophones, 2 tenor saxophones, and a barry sax. This is all typical. Like sometimes you have flute, sometimes you have clarinet. I write a lot for like doubled instruments, soprano, sax, and stuff like that. And then anyways, you'll have a trombone section, typically 4 to 5 players. Usually high school has like 5 players, but most like bigger bands, it's usually 4 trombones. Usually 3 like tenor trombones and 1 bass trombone. Sometimes you'll see French horns, even a bassoon once in a while. Oh. Track 3. Track 3 is called Swingin'. And then you'll have the trumpet section. The trumpet section is pretty standard for trumpets. And like I said in last week's episode, trumpet often will double on flugelhorn, or they have mutes. Same with trombone, will have mutes. But yeah, so a solo section is when you take that whole section of players and they like do a written out solo, harmonized, and sometimes counterparts, right? Some really famous, I mean, a lot of big bands have this. Not every big band chart will have that, but a really famous one that I used to, we always had to play this composer's music in high school because it's very flashy, is Gordon Goodwin. Gordon Goodwin's a really great, he's a very great jazz composer for big band. Definitely not like my favorite, but his stuff is very catchy and interesting, especially for those that are not like super avid jazz listeners. So if you want to check out Gordon Goodwin, something like Hunting Wabbits is a very interesting, silly chart. Obviously Looney Tunes reference. But yeah, that's a solo section. And then after the solo section, it'll go typically back to repeating the head of the chart, the main melody. It might do it only in part, might do the whole thing. And then sometimes you'll have like an outro. It's so silly when you hear a track on the radio, like you'll hear it fade out, right? And so obviously when like you're first learning how to write music, you're enticed to do that, to write out like a live fade with live musicians. And like my professor was just like, that's like nearly impossible. You know that, right? Like, it sounds so easy on the radio, but that's because they just go and they dial it down, and you have that fade happen. And so I didn't really think about that. None of my friends did either when we were first learning, when we took our jazz composition course, right? We all had these like repeated outros, and like he's just like, how many times do we repeat it? And we're like, I don't know, we just fade out. And he's like, no, how many times do you repeat it? Because like a live fade is like, that's not a thing. I was like, oh, okay. It's kind of silly. If you're a jazz musician, you're like, what the heck are you talking about? Be kind. That was my experience. All right. I'm not going to start a new video. This is track 4 called Land's End. I don't know if you can hear that bass. It's beautiful. So last week we listened to Jerry Mulligan's Night Lights, and the rhythm section for that is comprised of a guitar player, a piano, or a guitar, a bass, and a drummer. And this album has piano, bass, and drums. I think it's a tenor sax is the other horn on this track. I'm not gonna look it up on Wikipedia today. We're spinning. I got my hands full. My bobbin's getting real wild. It's really common to have one or the other, guitar or piano. Sometimes you'll have both, but not very likely, especially in a small group. You really don't need 2 comping instruments. No, I'm not going to say that that doesn't happen, because I will be proven wrong. Somebody will find some album that has both. Big band, it's much more common to have both comping instruments, because you'll trade off like solo sections. It adds texture and different sounds in different places. Just another instrument to play with. Think of the big band as like the wind ensemble, right, of the jazz world. Big band composers get to play with a lot more sound and a lot more color and texture. The small group, you can still do a lot of those cool arrangements of like playing with texture and sound. It just looks a little bit different. You have less to play with. You have less colors to play with. So, and sometimes in a small group, less is more, right? So you can really get like an intimate sound. Like a piano trio like Bill Evans, like next level intimacy of sound. So, with that being said, I am partial to piano as the rhythm section instrument. I can play lots of instruments. I can play a French horn. I can play a bassoon. I cannot play guitar. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because it's got 6 strings and like a bass typically has 4, and I can play bass. I can play ukulele, it's got 4. As soon as I get 5 and 6 strings, I'm done. I can't do it. I was joking with my son that he needs to learn the guitar because I don't know how to play the guitar. 1 second. Sorry, my daughter is being super sneaky. She's ripping up papers and probably trying to eat it. Come here, sneaky. You're getting a cute little look in my day-to-day. Trying to sit here and spin my morning spin, and this little lady is tearing paper up. Can I have it? No. She learned no. It's been fun. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Ah, we got it. Good girl. Thank sweetie. What do I have up here that you can have? Do I have anything you can have? Nah, no laptop. Let me see. Knitting bag for you. Ah, I got fiber in my mouth. No, you can't come up. After this tune, we'll take a pause, okay? We'll pause. Listen to the album. Do, do, do. This is a blues, sorta. Yeah, well, it's sorta. It is a blues. Okay. And we're gonna pause for a moment. Okay. We're gonna restart track 5. Actually, no, we won't. I'm not gonna restart it. Daughter's got her cookie. I make these little like vanilla wafer like cookies for her. 'Cause she got teeth, but she gets very jealous of her big brother who's 5 being able to eat pretty much whatever he wants. Not, you know, but he has the ability to eat whatever he wants. So I make these little like vanilla wafer cookies for her. Because they're soft enough, but she gets to pretend like she's eating like a big girl cookie. Yeah, so this is George's Dilemma. It's not my favorite track, so I'm not gonna restart the track. Mostly for the sake of time. I don't have a ton of time this morning. My hometown has a Where's Waldo competition going on downtown. And so we are going through our 4th day to find Waldos. It's really cool. It's a great way to shop local and make it fun and go and check out all the shops that are around. It's perfect going into the holidays because it makes you go, hey, I don't need to purchase anything from Amazon. And I can buy all my stuff local. I already do that for like all the kids' toys and stuff. There's a really awesome toy store in our town. And there's an awesome bookstore. That's who's running the Waldo contest. And so I already know those things. Now, I have now seen a whole bunch of cool shops that have all kinds of stuff for all my like friends and my family too. Not that I don't hand make a lot of their gifts, but maybe the pressure will be off this year. Because I found all these cool local shops. So if you're local and you know me, I'll just message me and I'll send you the info on the Waldo. I think it only goes through the end of this week, so maybe you won't be able to do it with your kiddos if you haven't already done it, but maybe next year you can do it. I'm pretty sure they do it every year. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But it takes like 2 hours to go and do like 15 stores. And there's like 60 on the sheet. So it's an endeavor. But maybe I'll treat myself to making some tea and then go. Oh, you guys, I'm almost done with this bag. The spin has been one of those like, not process spins. It's definitely like, I want the finished spin. You have those projects? I have a sweater right now that's like that. It was the one I showed last week. I finally split for sleeves. I finally split for sleeves. That was a beast. As my body has changed. I have more stitches to knit now. That one. Hey. Mommy, yeah, no, thank you. Hey, you did. No. Don't pull all this stuff down. Whoa. Here, you want this? This is track 6, and it's my favorite. If there is a song that I am humming or singing and I'm like trying to bop around, this is it. I love this melody. I love this chart. Solo is so good. I love Sandu. Let me know in the comments if you love this chart too. It is good. And if you'd like me to make it into a shawl. Oh, maybe I'll make it into a vest. Should I have a Sandu vest? Dude, okay. I'm spinning and this whole blob just popped out. No, Mama. Oh my gosh. 1 second. Anyways. Shall I write up the pattern with a Sandu vest? Let me know. Yeah. Just like maybe I'll use this tweedy yarn. What? Do we use another vest in the world? You know my answer. Well, now I can get it out of my head. It's gonna happen. Coming 2026. Sandu vest. You can look rad too. Okay, I don't know if you feel like this, but I used to never care about my clothes. I still don't care about my clothes. Let's be real. I'm wearing a ratty old Puma sweatshirt from Costco. But when I put on some handmade knits, you better believe I feel like the coolest cat in town. I'm gonna wear my hand knits downtown to Waldo today. Yeah, I am gonna be wearing my new Gress vest. Well, it's a Gress tee, but I made a vest. From Rebecca Clow of the Cray Knits. You need to go check out that pattern. If you love lace and you love summer patterns, it's lovely. If you want a summer pattern that can also be worn in the fall, knitted as a vest with some wool. I think eventually I'll probably riff on that pattern. I might kind of combine that pattern with the Lusk tee. I kind of do both. We'll see. And I like drop shoulder, fits better. But I mean, obviously that doesn't work for a vest. Like that would be more of like a slip over if I was going to do like a drop shoulders. But anyways, this is like a set-in sleeve if you made it as a t-shirt. But the Gress tee, it's lovely, and it is very rad. It makes me feel so cool. I don't know if you know Spidey and His Amazing Friends. It's like a kid's Spider-Man cartoon TV show. My son is obsessed with it. He learned about it through, we got a Tony's box for him for his birthday so that he can listen to like stories and stuff without having to watch TV. We're trying to, as we're going into school, not have any TV in the house except on Fridays and Saturday mornings. So we were like, oh, Tony's box would be cool because he loves to, like, he's like me. He has to have sound all the time. And so we bought him the Spidey and Friends little characters. And it tells a story and has, like, songs. I'm pretty sure it's Panic at the Disco who sings, which is pretty awesome. But anyways, the Miles Morales one would just spin. I have an action figure somewhere. Maybe I'll grab it. Hey, loud and young. No, thank you. That character, his story is about this pretend monster called the Wazzle Snook. And so my Gress vest has now turned into my Wazzle Snook armor. That I don't have to hide from the Wazzle Snook as long as I'm wearing my Gress vest because it looks like armor. Because I knitted it in like this silver gray yarn. And it looks like armor. It's very cool. Very silly. This is track 7. It's called Gherkin for Perkin, and I love it. I love the title. It's not my favorite track, but I love the title, Gherkin for Perkin. Yeah, I can't believe we're almost through the whole album. It went by fast. Well, thanks for joining me. We're gonna keep listening. I'm gonna keep talking probably. Hopefully my daughter will let me finish. We know how last week went. just wants to sit here so bad, and I don't let her face on YouTube or any social media. My baby, you cannot be on the internet. Oh, she's getting another chew. Yeah. Okay. Daddy came to the rescue. So let's finish gherkin for Perkin, and hopefully I'll have enough time to play the next 7 minutes, and then I will be bopping out of here. My son will be back, and we'll be on our way to Waldowing. I don't remember what I was saying before. So, if that seems a little disjointed, my apologies. The brain fog. The brain fog. Gluten is a killer, my friends. Oh, so tell me, what are you spinning? What are you knitting? What yarn are you working with? Ooh, in the comments, share your favorite tea. I'm on a tea kick right now again. So I'm a little bit of a, I can't say a tea snob, because I love all tea. I'm a tea connoisseur, right? How some people treat wine is how I treat tea. I like to smell it, I like to drink it, I like to collect it, I like to buy it, I like to give it to other people. I love tea. There's a place downtown I might pop into, because they have a tea I've never had before, which is jasmine rose. It's my favorite thing. I do love Earl Grey rose, which I think is called like Princess Earl Grey or something like that. Anyways, we're on to track 8, and it's called If I Love Again. This is a great track too. But yeah, it's called Princess Tea, I think, and it's Earl Grey with bergamot and rose, and it's delightful. It's very, very, very good. That one I bought from Pike's Place in Seattle. I can't remember the shop. If I remember, I'll put it in a link or in the description below, because I have a bag still. Yeah, so I have that, and then I've had some really delicious jasmine tea. My favorite right now is from Numi. I'm pretty sure it's commercial, so like probably find it at your grocery store. But yeah, it's really tasty. It's like just jasmine-y enough. It's like sometimes jasmine tea can like be a little bit overpowering, and like, you know how when you drink the tea and then like you breathe out your nose and like you can smell the jasmine. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. But anyways, sometimes jasmine tea can be like that. I still don't mind, but a lot of people don't like that really heady floral taste and smell. But this one's really good. It's like a really subtle but perfect jasmine tea. But having jasmine and rose, that might be my literal cup of tea. So I'm a big coffee drinker too. I do love coffee. I miss my Portland coffee. We used to be, if you're in the Portland area, Insomnia Coffee used to be my favorite spot. The one in Hillsborough. I think there's one in Portland, and they're all the way out to Cannon Beach. Or, not Cannon Beach, beach just right above them, I think. I don't remember. But they're out to the coast. They're like a local chain up there, and their coffee is very good. It comes from, I think it's House Dapper is their coffee line, and it's Hillsborough based coffee roaster. But yeah, they're really good. If you're in the Portland area, go check them out if you haven't already. Yeah, I used to, did like homeschool preschool for my son, and we used to go and hang out at Insomnia Coffee for homeschool every week and do an art project with a group of little kids. It was so much fun. And we would go down to the park and all play, and those were the days. Miss it. But there's some cool coffee shops around here too. They're just different. quite the same. Yeah. There's a coffee shop I really want to try. If it's really good, I'll plug it next week. So I really want to go this week to it. But I got some new coffee from down here from Avid. Used to be Acre Coffee, and Acre Coffee was like my favorite down here. And then they got bought out by Avid or Avid. I don't know. This is the last track. It's called Take the A Train. Take the A Train is a super standard. Everybody knows it, I'm sure. This is their version. So the cool thing about jazz is you take a tune and everyone can play it. And that's the thing I love about jazz is that like nobody like really owns the music. Like you write the melody, but then anybody can take it and make it their own. And I think that's so cool. And it becomes this collaborative, collective piece of music with a million different versions and a million takes on how to play it. There's not one right way. It's pretty cool. And so that's how I approach designing my knitwear. I want you to make it however you want, which can be a little bit frustrating for people because a lot of people want to just like knit the pattern. If you want to just knit the pattern, I can direct you to some really lovely designers that have patterns like that. My friend Casey Knits, she has incredible patterns like that. You just knit it and it's perfect and it works exactly the way it's supposed to every time. You can do it with any weight yarn, but the pattern is going to be whatever it is. You want to have an adventure and you want to collaborate on something and you want to make it your own, right? You want to arrange it, then you can check out any of my designs. Some of my designs are written out where it's like very easy to follow, very one way to do it, you know. You can obviously make it your own, but like you don't have to. But a lot of my newer stuff I have in there, like how do you improvise it? How do you do this? What can you interchange for this instead of this? Like if you hate fisherman's rib, you could just do 1x1 ribbing. 100%. You can just do knits and purls and not worry about it. If you want to put it in brioche instead of fisherman's rib, sure, go for it. If you don't want to do fisherman's rib, but you kind of like fisherman's rib, do half fisherman's rib. Why not? It's the same thing. Well, not the same thing, but like the same function, right? Still has those knits and purls. Still has ribbing. Still 1x1. So why not? Just add that in. Don't like just 1x1 ribbing, but you're not comfortable doing fisherman's rib. Okay, do broken rib or twisted rib. Do something fun. So that's a lot of my approach to designing and knitting. I hope you enjoy that. Anyways, on this last track, I'm going to do some plugs. I'm going to say like, share, and subscribe, comment below, do all the things. Any kind of interaction with this video helps. And thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me talk. Obviously, I am starved for knitting conversations. Jazz conversations too. Yeah, thank you for spinning with me or knitting with me and enjoying your Tuesday morning. I'm like I said last week, I'm going to try every week to put out a video, listening to some jazz, and you guys can tune in with me, and you know, we can just make some cool rad stuff together. That's the vibe. So, yeah, today we listened to Clifford Brown and Max Roach's quintet. And we listened to the album called Study in Brown off the Verb label that released in 1955. If you are like, I love this album, go check it out. You can find it on YouTube, you can find it on Spotify, you can go down to your local record store and buy the CD most likely. If they don't have it in stock, I'm sure you could talk to somebody and have them order for you. You could probably order it on Amazon. No shame. Some people only have access to Amazon who can deliver. But, you know, try to support someone local if you can. Yeah, and that's the end of Take the A Train. So remember, like, subscribe, share with your friends, and tune in next week. Hope you have a lovely Tuesday, and bye-bye.